As negotiations continue in the crab price dispute, we have the standoff covered from all the angles. Heather Gillis is live at the harbor in St. John's looking at the frustration felt by fishermen on the Avalon, and Terry Roberts is live tonight in Scie. And that is where we begin. What you're seeing here is the Sunset Cruiser arriving in Scie. This was the first fishing boat in the province to break the weeks-long tie-up in the crab industry. Thousands of harvesters have refused to go fishing because they say the price is too low. Now, it was quiet on the wharf as the vessel docked today. No trouble, as many had feared for the crew that defied the union-led stand down. So, Terry, you were there when the Sunset Cruiser came in today. What kind of welcome did they receive?
Well, yeah, so we didn't know what to expect, but there certainly was no, pitchforks and shovels. There was no confrontation, no harassment, nothing like that. It was mostly respectful, but don't be fooled here. Look, there's a real undercurrent of tension here in Scie, and I'm sure elsewhere as well. Now, these are the guys right here, the six crew members right here of the Sunset Cruiser, including the owner, Jamie Mullen. You can see him here. He's got the American flag on his hat. Now, as you can see, they're a tight crew, and Mullen told me today they're like family. Now, Mullen would not do an interview. He kept telling me that, he said what he had to say on Facebook over the weekend, and of course that post attracted a lot of attention. He got a lot of criticism for his decision to break ranks with his fellow harvesters, others praising him, saying that, it's time to end the stalemate, time to go fishing before the entire season is lost. So why did Jamie Mullen go fishing? Well, when I asked him that, he pointed at his crew. He said, for my crew and for their families. He pointed at his boat. He said, for my enterprise. He said, for the very survival of my business. He said, I have to earn a living. So he's taken a lot of flack, but he says he's received more support than he expected. And I asked him if he had any crab, and he said, he looked at me with a coy look on his face, and he said, well, there's none on board. So you can read into that what you will. So not a lot of fishermen willing to talk about this today and go on camera. But here's what one supporter of Jamie Mullen had to say when I approached him.
Me, I want to go fishing, right? I don't want to go away. I don't think too many other people do. That's my thought of it, It's time to get this show on the road. We fought for trying to get a price up. Don't seem like it's moving. Don't seem like we're no farther ahead than what we was 5 or 6 weeks ago. So if the market goes up, we should get our share, whatever it would be.
Now, as we told you last night, there's a lot of division here in Scie. Now, let me break it down for you. This is how I figured it out right now. So if you've got a larger boat, some of those you see behind me here, and you got a larger quota, and likely you had an increase this year because the quotas went up, you feel you can go fishing because you can make a go of it at $2.20 a pound. But if you got a smaller boat, and there's many of them here as well in the under 40 fleet, you got a smaller quota, well, you're more resistant to wanting to go fishing, and you want to continue this tie-up until you can get a better price. So there have been arguments. There have been arguments here on the point this morning between fishermen. So, I'm told friendships have been ruined over this, and we're here with the CBC, and I've received, more than my fair share of rude comments today because we're here trying to cover this story. So I spoke with the mayor today, for example, and here's some of what she had to say.
The mood itself, it's almost like one against the other, and those people known each other right on up through their lives, and it makes it hard feelings. And I work with a lot of those fishermen, and they're the best that you can come across. They're family-oriented, right? Everybody knows everybody. And it makes it hard when you see one talking about the other one and stuff like that. Should never be.
So we've had some developments this afternoon. We've learned now that there's been talks today. The Premier Andrew Furey had both sides together. He's been mediating talks between the FFAW and the Association of Seafood Producers. They're gone on break right now, but they're going to resume those talks later tonight. So there could be a breakthrough tonight. We don't know that yet. And of course, that's big. A lot of people are watching and waiting. Many people I've spoken to, their EI benefits are expiring, or they have expired. And a lot of boats are telling me, boat owners, they want to go, but they can't get bait and ice right now. So that's holding things up. So again, a lot of tension. And it's not just here in Scie. It's also happening throughout this province, including in St. John's, where my colleague Heather Gillis is this evening. Heather?
Thank you, Terry. Well, the frustration here on the east coast of the island is also palpable. We talked to some harvesters today who really says this all comes down to leadership, and they're fed up with leadership. They want better leadership from their union, the FFAW, from the processors, from the federal and the provincial government. Now, we went to Bay Bulls, and that's where we talked to Jason Sullivan. He is one of the most outspoken fishermen in this province. And when it comes to Moulin breaking ranks out there in Scie where Terry is, while the majority of boats elsewhere are tied on, well, Sullivan calls that a publicity stunt. Sullivan, he's not fishing, but he thinks the end of this dispute is near. However, he does believe that harvesters can still hold on a little longer. And if, people do get back out on the water, he thinks there is time to salvage the season, especially since harvesters got record prices for their catch last year. Still, Sullivan is calling for a better process to bring stability to the industry.
And a lot of these people just had 2 years to getting $7 crab, and they're broke in May. So I mean, if they need to go fishing $2 crab now, when are they going to be broke in September? So I don't really buy that they need to go right now, but I guess they're just getting frustrated. I think the industry could be much more stable and better overall for everyone, and we don't need to be going fishing for next to nothing, and we don't need to be boom and bust all the time, but you need better leaders in both the government, in the FFAW and ASP side in order to sort this out. But all they seem to be doing is wanting to fight. So I mean, you had since September, I mean, everyone knew